Good morning.
Good morning.
I will need to read something because, as Mario, my English is not very good, so I like to speak directly to people, but today it won't be possible, so I'll try my best, okay? I will present you a work in progress in Portugal, because we'll still have lots to do and to think about it. But first of all, I want to thank to my colleagues, Filipa and Noelia Custódio, because they had a key role in this project and in this presentation. Without them, it could not be possible. Alone, I wouldn't be able to do this. I also wish to thank to all the participants in the meetings and to all the people who answered to our online questionnaire. Their contribution was essential to this project. And I wish to leave a special recognition to Fie Kushi and his work, because in our online questionnaire we needed to include an objective reference to what we, the three authors, understood as a standard macrobiotic diet. We chose an article of FIA because we considered it to be the most congruent with our overall learning experience. We both know, the three of us, because it is not easy to find a reference, a simple reference that gathers the main core of a standard macrobiotic diet. So that was our option. Passar a tempo. Não, tem que ser assim. Aqui talvez aqui.
Page down, which in German is no, eins. I'll find a way. Sorry, I'll be here. Yeah,
You'll scroll.
Scroll.
Just scroll.
Scroll
down.
Well, last year I attended the first international meeting, and it was a very interesting experience for me. I met more than 30 new colleagues from different parts of the world, and I realized that were more than those I met while working in Portugal. I also realized that, and I already felt that on a personal level, that macrobiotics is still adapting to an ever-changing society. And these people, we are now gathering here, and last year, we live our daily routines and think about common issues concerning macrobiotics. And I realized that we never, among professional community in Portugal, we never did that. So, and I kept on thinking, and at the same time I felt a huge paradox. How could we find consensus, international consensus, if we don't seek those consensus in our own country? So, 2 weeks later, I'll need to scroll once again, and inspired by Aristotle's quote, "The whole is greater than the sum of its parts," I launched a challenge on my Facebook page, and I named that challenge Meetings with Macrobiotics. And my idea was to try to bring together individuals who had received training in macrobiotics. It was exclusively dedicated to persons who already knew macrobiotics. I had no expectation about the meetings, but I thought that together we could be one macrobiotics with unique characteristics and unique abilities. So I just launched the challenge. And I did that with some in advance, because I want to give time to people to understand if that had a meaning or not. So in January, in January 2017, we organized the first meeting, and we had 15 participants. That it was all over my expectations, so it was a very good experience. And up until now, 37 different participants were present in our meetings. And we were in several cities in Portugal. We went out Lisbon because we want to know how our colleagues were working in Braga, Porto, Algarve, and we'll try to keep on that decentralization.
Not to be centred in Lisbon, the opposite, to share with other cities.
Decentralized.
Yeah.
Okay. So what and two major ideas are quite important in our meetings. Before our meetings, we knew about people. Now we actually know those people and talk with each other and ask for advice and share doubts and ideas. It has been very good. And the awareness of who we are and what we want to do is becoming greater. And I feel that these meetings are growing and creating very much
A lot of meaning.
A lot of meaning among the professionals in macrobiotics in Portugal. And what we have learned from the meetings. The sense of group, it's huge, it's very, very important. Another idea, in Portugal, macrobiotics is a women's matter. And with high education. And those women find lots of difficulties with their families. Usually they practice macrobiotic diet alone, and most of them cook separately. So, or it is true, many of them live alone. So it is a very specific community. And another important idea. Working in macrobiotics usually means living, struggling with lack of money. And most of people have a second job, so they can't dedicate themselves truly and completely to macrobiotics, which is a problem because it doesn't allow us to develop our work. I'm in that case. I don't work full. Macrobiotic is not my full job, so it is quite difficult to do good work in two different subjects. But we keep on trying. Okay. And last idea. It seems that having graduation in a conventional health area, it makes the path much more easier, because public recognition of our work is much more easier. if we work in a standard health area. Okay? So then, what were the main conclusions from our meetings? It is important to work towards increased professionalization, especially because EMP has been carrying out an exceptional work in macrobiotic training. So we realized that learning is separate from practicing, and we as professionals, we have the responsibility to work towards recognition, towards acceptance. So that's our job, not a training responsibility. And also building bridges as much as we can with each other, with public services, with the scientific community. That is urgent, because that will allow us to enlarge our public and our action. Well, but my main job, I'm a designer, so I work every day with communication. And I know that to achieve specific goals, it is necessary to know and understand our audience. So, in order to create an efficient message, and I realized we don't know our audience. We have a very small group in the Macrobiotics meetings, and we felt the need to understand more about our audience. So we created an online questionnaire in order to complement our practical experience in the meetings. And it is curious because the online questionnaire give us similar results as the meetings. It was the time when we released the questionnaire. It was not the perfect one, because it was in holidays. So we don't really know if the small amount of answers, it was due to the holidays or an interest, or we must think about it further. Okay, so during 1 month the questionnaire was online, and we got 226 valid answers. In more than 40, exactly 40 questions were in the questionnaire, and we tried to understand who are we, to whom are we speaking to, and what we want to reach. The questions we structured in the questionnaire was intended to give us those answers. Well, among those questions, we asked several about the food habits, and those results must need further work. So I won't be speaking about them here, maybe other time or online. But prevalence of women, more than 80% of answers were from women. And around 90% of the answers were people with high education. And around 70% of the people who practice a standard diet, a standard macrobiotic diet, face difficulties within the family. This is very present. This is true. And considering that we are professionals, or trying to be professionals in macrobiotic, around 100 respondents have studies in macrobiotics, in not workshops, larger courses, like myself. And it was curious because around 70 people of those 100 completed their learning recently, and were those that answered to our questionnaire. And only of those, around 46 people are trying to work within macrobiotics, but only 11 do it as a full-time job. So this forced us to make some questions to ourselves. And in the future, we will try to answer to these questions. Where are former students? Why didn't they answer to the questionnaire? Because we know that they are our friends on Facebook. They knew, they received our communication about the questionnaire. So it could be an option not to answer the questionnaire, and we would like to understand why. And the main question, how is macrobiotics capable to grow if there aren't many people working with it? And finally, right on time, I would like to propose to all of you, think local, act global. That is the opposite that macrobiotics has been doing for several years. Because macrobiotics has been subject to personal interpretation and individual practice. It's kind of very personal activity. Likewise, each group ends up having a predominantly local incidence, despite a growing exchange of teachers and students. This presentation is essentially to all those a proposal to all of you, and I wish to propose you for each country to try, study and understand their audience, to know with whom we are communicating efficiently in order to fully understand the impact of macrobiotics on a global scale. That's it.